Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Favi, and welcome to Arrows DIY. On my channel, I love creating Dollar Tree DIYs, high-end dupes, thrift flips, and the occasional trash to treasure, always on a budget. This is the first of my Christmas series this year, and I'm so excited to be sharing some farmhouse rustic DIYs. I hope that you enjoy. This is part of the Decking the Halls challenge hosted by Brenda over at Rustic and Lace, co-hosted by Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, and Shantell from Crafty Hints. Be sure to check out their channels and the playlist link in my description box below. And let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. We were challenged to repurpose one of our DIYs. So repurposing, redecking, I'm going to be repurposing this truck. This truck was from my spring live series and I love this truck so much. I got it at Family Dollar for $5, and although I was trying to make a two-tone truck, I mean, I'm always making some unique home decor, so subscribe if you love unique home decor on a budget. I love the colors, but I just wanted to give it a facelift, so I was totally inspired by the wheels on this project. So I'm going to be using some metal features on this truck. I started off by giving the entire truck about 3 coats in sheepskin chalk paint. I just wanted a nice clear base so that I'm able to add the next feature. I wanted to galvanize this truck using this galvanized paint technique, which I love so much. Just a tip, when you are painting this truck, this foam brush applicator from the Dollar Tree is so helpful to get into those little nooks and crannies. I love this foam brush for that. If you're new around here, my name is Favi. I am a crafty mother of 5, so if you hear them in the background, I totally apologize. I love to DIY on my spare time. So subscribe and join our crafty family here on YouTube. So I found this cute little house at Family Dollar, and I think I paid something like 20 cents for it off season, and I'm just going to give it a makeover by painting it in my favorite red chalk paint called Imperial, and I just love this color. So I'm going to give this house a transformation, turning it into a barn. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully paint this, and I give it about 3 coats to cover that pattern in the middle of the heart as well as that word sweet at the bottom. So once the house is completely painted, I'm going to take 4 of these craft sticks. Now I start off with 2. I end up adding 2 more in a little bit, but these are wide sticks. I got them at Dollar Tree. You could get them at any craft store. I'm going to cut off the rounded edge using my miter shears, and then I'm going to measure them to the edge of that roof to make sure they're the perfect length to cover the full length of that roof. I also take some antique wax and I wax the entire craft stick, the sides, and I paint 4 of them. Now, I thought that I would be able to use antiquing wax on the top of this house, but the material of this roof was very slick. It was a very strange kind of like a, I don't know, like a plastic, some kind of veneer. I have no idea. But anyways, I opted to wipe off the antique, and then I'm just going to hot glue it in place after I cut the angle for the roof. I put the craft stick in place and then just marked off the top point and the bottom point. That way I could use my miter shears and cut a perfectly edge for my roof. And then with that one in place, I marked off the other craft stick. That way I know exactly where I need to cut it so that it falls nicely and meets perfectly in the center. So I measured twice and cut once. Once everything was nice and cut to size, I used some hot glue and adhered it. But I forgot, I actually made these little lines first. So I'm using another craft stick, a wide one, and I'm just going to use a pencil to make kind of like barn lines on there, kind of like a shiplap on the barn. And I thought that I would like it with the graphite from the pencil, but I ended up trying this out. This is the glass marker. It's like a white glass marker from Dollar Tree. I've never used it before, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be writing on glass with it. So I used it for this project, and I like how it came out. Just keep in mind that it does turn this little marker pink. So just, keep that in mind. I think if you seal it, it probably won't do that. However, this is a good alternative if you don't have a paint marker. I think this works a lot better than that other chalk writer. I don't like those from Dollar Tree. Okay, so now I'm going to use the 2022 calendars from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting off the little section here that says Farm Fresh. I'm making a perfect square shape using my paper cutter, and I tried a scissor first, but as you can see, it's not as straight. So this is a handy tool as well if you are a crafter. So now I'm going to do the galvanized effect to this truck. So this is DIY number 2, technically. I'm going to take this truck and I'm going to give it all one good coat in this silver brushed silver color. I make sure to paint the entire truck except the back of the truck, and as well as the hubcaps. So as you can see here, it doesn't have to be neat. I do paint the inside of the front of the truck as well as the back side of the truck, because we're going to be making a little Christmas winter scene on the back of the truck, and I just want everything to look nice and finished. We're going to be using these 4 faux paints. The first is wicker white, classic French gray, what was the other one? The same brushed silver color, and this black color. Any line of paints works. I'm just using faux because that's my preference, and I'm a plaid ambassador, so that's why I recommend these. But first, we're just going to use a foam brush from the Dollar Tree, and I just love pouncing it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the corner of my foam brush, and I'm just going to pounce the foam applicator. I start with the classic gray color and I pounce it randomly around. Then I go for the black color, pounce that around, and then I go ahead with the white. And at first it looks kind of crazy, but the more I promise you'll just start seeing the galvanized effect turn out. Now I like to keep it random, so that's why I'm doing all the sides randomly. I feel like if you focus on one side, you might overthink it. So I just randomly place colors all around the truck, going one color at a time, and then just going back over the same spots. If you find that your silver color kind of disappears, you could always dab on some more, which is why I included it in the 4 colors, if you wanted to add more of that metal effect back onto your truck. So as you can see here, it really is a lot of fun. It's not fussy at all. It's very forgiving. If you feel that you aren't doing it right, just keep going and it will appear. And I feel like after you add the white paint, that's when you start really seeing the galvanized effect. Now, at the end, to blend all of it, you just want to, the most important part is that you are not smushing your brush. You want to make sure to pounce. So you want to lift up your paintbrush or foam applicator and drop it back down. So do that all the way around until it's all, I don't want to say blended because you're not smushing it, but you're going to blend it by pouncing. Now we're going to add this bronze color. It's also from the brushed metal line of faux paints, and I love this is my favorite color, I think, of all time. It used to be gold last year, but now I think I've moved into the bronze. So I'm going to go ahead and treat this bronze color as if it were rust, and anywhere that I think the truck would rust through time, I'm going to be adding a lot of this bronze color. I also pounce this bronze color lightly around the entire body of the truck, but concentrating mostly around the wheels, on the edges of the truck, as well as the corners of the truck. I go very heavy on the nose of the truck, as well as the bottom of the windshield and the bottom of the truck around the wheels. But if this is your project, you could distress this however you like. I do go in and add antiquing wax right after. And this is adding the antiquing wax. Now I am just going to darken up the bronze in certain areas, and once I darken up the center of the bronzed areas, I'm going to paint the back of the truck using the same antiquing wax. And like I said before, this foam brush is so helpful for getting into those little spaces between the backs of the truck. So I really recommend using this foam brush if you're painting one of these trucks. It makes it so easy and minimizes the drips. All right, so as you can see here, I also distressed the back of the truck, and now it's time to build the scene in the back after I paint these tires. For the tires, I use the same black paint, the licorice matte finish paint, and I am going to speed this up, but I just took my time. I really enjoy creating on my spare time. It's very relaxing for me. So I speed this up because I do take my time when I'm creating. And I just put a movie on and I talk to my husband, and my kids are in bed. The baby might not be because he's teething and sleep regression and all these mommy things. But yeah, I just like relaxing and creating. So I hope you create, and I hope you're inspired today to create some fun home decor. Now I'm taking Mod Podge. You can take any finish of Mod Podge. This is just the one I happen to have at hand, and this on hand, and this is the hard coat. I took the little calendar page and I added a coat of Mod Podge behind it. Then I just put it in place. The good thing about Mod Podge is it is forgiving, so you do have some time to lift up and adjust your picture if it's not perfectly aligned to your liking. I'm gonna go ahead and add some Mod Podge on top once I have it stuck on there. Now I do see some bubbles forming, so I'm just going to use the same foam applicator and smooth it out with the sponge tip on this foam applicator. I'm just going to use that and just softly flatten it, starting from the center, moving my way outward. Then I just give the entire thing, the entire picture and the truck, a coat of Mod Podge. This is going to seal the galvanized paint technique, and it's going to preserve your truck forevermore. Now I'm taking this thin paintbrush, and I just wanted to add another feature. I don't know why I didn't like the plain little picture there, but this is totally optional. You do not have to add this. I just wanted it to be a little more rustic. Now for the back of our little barn, I decided to use one of these ornaments from the Dollar Tree just because I wanted to cover those holes from the screws. And although I know this is not going to be fully visible, I did want to cover the back of this little barn. And now I'm going to put the little scene together. So I'm going to use these tiny bottle brushed Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 6-pack, and I'm going to use 3 of the dark green and 3 of the white. I'm also going to be using these Jenga blocks. I have an actual Jenga block from like the game I got at a thrift store. And then I have some of the tiny tumbling tower blocks. And I also have some of those little squares. You can use anything you have on hand. If you don't have these things, anything to elevate those little trees. So you'll see in a little bit that I do use a wood bead. Literally anything. You could use a bottle cap, anything. Toilet paper rolls, cut them up. You just want to elevate these little trees so that they are staggered and just a little bit more woodsy. That's all I'm trying to do here. So I'm showing you here how I placed these little wood pieces in this little scene. But on your project, you can put them however you like. All right, so once I have those little elevation squares and rectangles in place, I'm going to start hot gluing these trees in place. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue. I use Gorilla Hot Glue. I just really enjoy using that glue. It's very good on wood and on various materials. So I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue this like so. I start off with the little green tree, and now I'm going to add the other tree right there to the left. And I don't like repetition, like I don't like pattern. I like things being kind of random as you would find them in nature. So I'm going to put 2 green ones close to each other. If it bothers you to see the natural wood in that tumbling tower block, you could definitely antique wax it before you put it in. I didn't mind because, I don't know, I just didn't mind it, so I left it natural, kind of like the bottom of the wood slice on the tree. Now I'm gonna adhere the white trees in place. So I do 2 green trees, then 1 white tree. Then I put another white tree at the end. I think I do about 6 trees in total. Now, like I said, you could use anything. So here I just use a little wood bead to kind of give another height to another tree here. And it was getting kind of crammed up once I added all the trees, but I still wanted to add 1 more. So I ended up turning the bottom of the tree, the base. I kind of bent it. I bent the wire on the base of the tree, and now I'm just gonna hot glue it to the inside. That way it fits nicely, but it still covers that little gap there, and I really like how that turned out. Now I'm gonna make a thick finger bow using this red and natural jute cord from the Dollar Tree, and I'm trying to decide where to put this little bow. So I almost put it on top of the house, but I ended up putting it right there on the top of the truck. Let me know where you would have put this bow in the comments below, because I know it looks like I made up my mind quickly, but it really did take me some time to decide where this bow was gonna go. Alright, so then I trimmed the tails of the bow. Now I'm just going to use some eucalyptus, some faux lamb's ear, that I just had on hand, some greenery I had on hand. And then the inside of the truck in the front was driving me nuts, so I had to put something inside. I opted to use just another floral pick from Family Dollar. I also got on sale for like 20 cents. And that's it for this project. So let me know what you think about this project in the comment section below. These are 2 of my DIYs in 1. All right. So for this next project, I'm going to be making a wreath. Now this wreath is small. I like to stack my wreaths. I like to layer my wreaths. So this is going to be one of those, the front part of a layered wreath. Later on in the Christmas season, I'll make another wreath. But this wreath here, I'm going to use the wood blend wreath from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use some antiquing wax, and I'm going to use a big brush. Any brush with long bristles makes this job a lot easier, because it was a time getting this thing waxed. But I love the color that antique wax adds, so I would recommend trying this one. So once the wreath was nice and dry, I'm going to go in and use this ribbon. This is a burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree with a holly design. So since we're doing Deck the Halls, I figured this would be the perfect time to use this beautiful burlap ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this hack my mother taught me when I was a little girl. I have another video where I give a more in-depth tutorial on how to do this. I can link that video here below. It was last winter. It's Beautiful Winter DIYs, I think it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and use this piece of cardboard to make this bow. If you struggle making bows, or you like having all your tails equal, this is very handy. Most of us have cardboard boxes laying around, and just on hand. So that's what I like about this. It's just very available to most of us who don't have a bow maker. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a double bow, and I kept the tails relatively short on this one. I wanted to make a simple bow. I didn't want it to be too extravagant on this one. I wanted this to all be nice and rustic. I'm going to take the same jute cord, from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to tie it off in the center. I'm going to double knot the back, and I usually hot glue the jute cord in the back just to give it more security, but so far this jute cord is very sturdy. It doesn't tear or anything. So now, using the same jute rope, I'm going to take a 7-inch piece of wood, and I'm going to wrap it around to make kind of like a shabby, not a shabby bow, but like a messy finger bow, but like a large one. I'm not sure. I'm just making a bow out of this jute cord. So I wrap around this piece of wood probably around about 30 times. And then I'm going to tie off the center to keep all of these in place. So I wasn't sure what kind of bow I was going to do at this point. I kind of just create on the fly and just see where the creation takes me. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie that off. Now I'm putting it on top of the other bow to see how I like it. If I wanted to make it a raggedy bow or... And I just decided to keep it simple and just tie the center off. So I doubled it up. I folded it on itself and I wrapped around the center there. As you can see, very simple. I wanted to keep this one very simple, not making a big extravagant bow or anything. I just like it nice and rustic. So now I'm going to cut off those tails that are still sticking out, and I wanted to make sure that both sides were even. So you see me here just making sure that both sides are even, and I'm going to cut off those tails. Now I'm going to fluff the bow for a really long time, but I edited the video down so it seems like a short time. And I'm going to hot glue these two bows together. I'm also going to secure them together with some more of that jute cord in just a bit. But here I'm just fluffing the bow, trying to see if this is the kind of look I'm going for. And I decide, yes, this is the look I want to have on this wreath. So now I have this holly bush I got at the end of the season on clearance. I think I paid $1 for this, and I thought it was a good amount. It's not the best quality holly, but quality. It's not high quality, but I think it's beautiful for $1, and you get a good amount. So here I'm just separating the branches to make sure that there's an even amount of berries and bare picks on both sides, and then I divide it. So I bend the wire in the center. So then I pull the two apart. I bend the wire in the center so we have two bunches of greenery on both sides. I use my miter shears. I probably should invest in some better metal shears, like wire cutters. So if you'd like to support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee in the link below. I use that money to buy and upgrade my equipment for my videos. I'm going to take 3 of these cable ties from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to secure them to the center. After I make a space in that wreath form. So I made a little space in the wreath form. I stuck the pick inside of that space in that wreath form, and then I secured it with the zip ties. I hope you saw what I did. Now the bow is going to cover all those zip ties in the center, but first I have to adjust the greenery. So I'm going to take the 2 longest holly branches and I'm going to wrap them around the wreath. And then I'm going to keep the 2 shorter ones and I'm going to curve them into a U shape so they follow the shape of this wreath. It's very simple to do, not fussy. If you would like, you could secure it with some floral wire or some hot glue. I like changing my decor throughout the season, so I don't usually hot glue my wreaths, but you do you on your wreath, you know? Okay, so I go ahead and I wrap 2 of the longer branches around the wreath, and I do the same thing to both sides. Now I wanted it to look very wild and full, and I wanted it to extend out horizontally. So once all that was nice and fluffed and extended out, I'm going to add the bow right to the center, and this is going to cover all the zip ties and all that stuff. I don't use hot glue, I actually just use the jute cord, but you could certainly use hot glue if you need more security. If this is going to be outdoors, I definitely recommend securing this with some more cable ties and hot glue and floral wire, but this is going to be in my home, inside my home, maybe on my front door, depending on the second wreath that I make. So like I said, this wreath is going to be on top of another wreath you'll see later on in the holiday season. So I hope you subscribe so I can hear from you. And yeah, we can create together. So this is the last addition to this wreath. This is another floral pick from the same Family Dollar, and I believe I paid 25 cents for this. He was in storage with all the Christmas things. This poor little fellow. I had to clean off his face. So now I'm just going to slip that floral pick right into the jute twine at the center of the bow. And then I'm going to wrap the bottom of the pick and intertwine it to the wreath itself. I'll show you in a second here. You'll see. Sorry, I'm a little out of frame, but I get in frame in a second. I smarten up in a second. All right, there you go. So then, as you can see there, I just wrap it and intertwine it in the wreath. Just make sure that it's very close to your wreath so it has a nice snug fit. You don't want it loose at all. You could also use hot glue to secure this guy, but there you go. It's super cute. He's on a nest of bow. I love him so much. But let me know in the comments below what you think about this one. I think he's so charming. I ended up just using some black grosgrain ribbon I had on hand. I figured it brings out the color of his eyes. So that's what I decided. But hey, let me know in the comments below what you think. I hope you've subscribed by now. I hope we're family. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below what you think about these creations today. A special thank you to Brenda at Rustic and Lace DIY, Amanda at 6 Kids in a Glue Gun, and Shantell from Crafty Hints for hosting this monthly challenge. I had so much fun creating. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I hope to hear from you guys. As always, friends, thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. If you like this video, here's another one you might